we start out in the outside of the facility, do a walk around, see if there's other facilities, see if there's any, clues about any illegal discharges or something going on that we might see. At the same time, I'm a fire department, so we do fire inspections as well as another element to the inspection. So we're gonna go inside. I'm inspector for Healdsburg Fire Department as well as the Healdsburg Sebastopol CUPA. So I just wanted to show what we use for inspections. It's an iPad we have here. It comes apart like this. It's called a zag, basically. So you can actually lay it this way. You can have it up as a type, use the keyboard, and it also takes great pictures. So what I want to show you here is this is what it looks like. So the way I schedule my inspections through our fire department is through this. This is called basically Streamline. It's an inspection software for fire, but the whole fire department uses it, so I use that for consistency and scheduling. The next thing we're going to do is, before I go into an inspection, I go in here and I'll pull up DHD is the inspection software we have. I'll pull up the facility, which is the fire department, and also at the same time I'll pull up CERS. And so I have CERS right here, so I have all three inspections right here. Information. So the first thing I do before I go into the facility is I look and see how their CERS are. Now I see that this facility, our fire department, has made a submittal as of today. So we're going to go in and I'll look at that during the inspection and accept or deny those and see what's up. The other thing I want to do is go into compliance. And here I'll view the inspections and see that there was one here and there were no outstanding violations, because I'll want to make sure I check that during the inspection. So, and what I would do is I would correct that these violations would be here in DHD. I would correct them here, and those are automatically corrected in CERS. So I do a little bit of homework before I go into the facility. So anyway, so it makes it really easy. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go meet with the chief, and we're going to ask the chief some questions about the inspection. And so we're going to go in here. Knock, knock, chief.
Hello,
Hi. This is Chief Jason Boaz. And typically what I'll do is I'll come in and ask real quick questions of the chief. So basically the programs that we have here are the hazardous materials business plan, because we have oxygen and we have diesel for our generators. And we do have hazardous waste. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, so for training, we have hazardous materials, and I know you're the safety officer for the city. So what kind of training do we have here, Chief?
What kind of training do we have?
Yeah, record do you
keeping?
have?
Well, we use Target Solutions. We use some other online-based training programs, and of course our company training. We log that in Firehouse, but we also in our safety administration folder for the city for OSHA compliance, we log all of our training schedules, all of our training records, and all of our staff certificates into a shared folder for safety administration.
Yeah, and we do hazard communication annually, right?
We do.
Correct.
Yep.
And then also the other thing we do is we have 3 people that have gone to the CUPA conference for our health and safety code and for all those programs. And so the chief allows us to go down to the CUPA conference every year. So we do that. So that's additional training that we have. Perfect. And I see you have out your manifest binder here.
I do.
And so on the manifest, I see that I looked through this and I see that you don't have any manifest for the last year or last couple years since maybe 2012. And why is that?
That's correct, because we are not currently a hazardous waste generator anymore since we removed our underground storage tank.
But we keep it.
We keep the EPA number.
Okay.
Just in case of an emergency.
Okay, perfect. So we send that in. We do the electronic reporting to the state for 0 manifests every year, but we do keep it for emergencies. So that's the 2 programs basically. Manifests are taken care of, training, and so what we're going to do now is I'm going to do a facility inspection with with Ruben, if that's fine with you, Chief, and then any deficiencies will come back. It will be reported to you because your email's on here as a contact. So all the information will be emailed to you directly as soon as I'm done.
That's great. Let me know if you need anything or if you have any questions.
All right. Well, thank you. Thanks, Chief. Okay. Okay, so basically, you know, some of the, like I said, I do fire inspections too. Facilities, I'll look at their fire and life safety, you know, issues. And so right now, we're all up to date on our fire sprinklers. So we're gonna go back here and we'll look at a little bit of hazmat. So the facility, we go in here in the tool room. This is our tool room. Look in here, we have our flammable liquids. Everything appears to be labeled, and we have self-closing doors, so a little bit stuck. And then also we have our safety data sheets electronically in the facility, and then we're working on updating all those. This might be a little bit of a problem right here. You see, if we had an earthquake, this might be an issue. So I might ask them to put a wire across here or move them down, which is good. So what I can do on here is I go to Streamline. I could say basically hazardous materials, and I could pick a violation here, and it would be hazardous materials labeled. Let's see, storage of hazardous materials. I'm going to call it out. I'm going to add a photo. So I'm going to take a photo. Take a photo. In this way, the facility knows exactly what the problem is. And then I know it's required is, I put it in here that these chemicals should be secured, because at this time they could spill on somebody and create, you know, and get them in the eye or anything, even though, well, windshield coolants, antifreeze, so be secured. Okay, and I hit done, so that the pictures and everything will be sent to them. So let's go over here to the hazardous materials over here. So one of the things that we have is medical gases. Oh, and then we also have our dummy here, but as you can see, our tanks are secure. We're not exempt because we have over 1,000 cubic feet of medical gases, and so we fall into a range, and we're not exempt for hazardous materials reporting. So we have all our oxygen here. We have a guy on the floor. These don't count; they're compressed air cylinders, but some small oxygen over there secured. So next thing we'll go is we're going to look at our diesel generator and our above ground storage tank. Okay, got that? Okay, so in here is our generator. We have water that comes in because this is all open up there. It's not fuel. So we look at the generator. Our generators are tested weekly, and there's a person that does all the generators within the city to make sure that they're not leaking. He does a weekly inspection of everything. I look for the piping to make sure there's no leaks in here. And like I said, this is water from up top. You can see we drain our hoses up there. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our above ground. Ruben's parked it again. Okay, so we have our above ground storage tank here. It's 250 gallons, and it feeds our diesel generator. So just like I said, they do weekly inspections on this. We have a leak alert, which is over here, so it checks the secondary to make sure. They make sure that that we have a proper amount of fuel in here and that we don't overfill it. And so this can is locked as well, so people can't steal it. We got the vent, and then we also have the piping over here. So, he comes and checks to make sure that the piping is all secure and that there's no leaks. So that's the only other material I have. So what we're going to do is we're going to head inside and we'll finish up this inspection. Okay, so basically when I come in, I just go and I select which areas that I did the inspection. So this was hazardous materials business plan. I hit select. And so here's the business plan. I put the time that I came in, which is gonna be like 4 o'clock. And I start my inspection. Now, this has to do with the HMBP has to do with the business plan. So what I'm gonna go do is I'm gonna go back in here, and I'm gonna go up the top and I'm gonna click CERS, and I'm gonna go into submittals, and I'm gonna check these out while I'm here. I'm gonna see, I'm gonna go through one at a time and make sure that they have everything. So that appears to be correct. Everything is in there. And business activities. Looks good. We don't have hazardous waste selected on here because at this time we're not generating any. If we do, we can always select that as well. We have hazardous materials. Oh, I hit the site map, so we go check out the site map. Go through. That's the legend that we use. Okay, so I go back. Oops. And I go back here. I'll close that. And then I'll hit this one up top. Open. And so here it is. It has the date. It has the scale down here. It has the direction north. It has the facilities next door. It has the streets, and it has the areas. The storm drains are marked. The fire department, like the fire hydrants and things we'd want to know. Gas shut off. But the tool room the diesel tank, the oxygen room, which we all saw. So I would say I would accept this map. Okay, and then I close that. And then I go in, and the last thing, let's see, we already talked about the training record, so the last thing we would do is go into the emergency response contingency plan. Open that up in Adobe. And these come with the iPad, so these are just general iPads, right? So I look through here, the information is all filled out, the CUPA numbers here. We also add additional numbers like police department. We have the regional board that's here, the information. Okay, and that looks good. Earthquake vulnerability. And then we have this filled out. Of course, I did it, so I know it's correct. Otherwise, I'd take more time to look at it. Okay, and then go back here. So now I've seen that, so I've accepted everything. Go back, and I'll just go through and I'll do this inspection. Okay. Okay. So anyway, in DHD, which we use, is I put in the violation in there for about operations, about the chemical storage, because I think it's important, because if there was an earthquake or if somebody opened that up, they could possibly get injured with splashing, it hitting the shelf in the tool room. So I'm going to update that violation, and I also put it down here in information. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sign this, which you can see we have electronic signature. And then I'm going to ask Ruben here with his free hand to sign right there. Can you sign that? Okay. And then I put received by name because the chief has left for the day. Mandujano. And then I put it in here, who gave me permission. Now you put it here. And then I'm going to hit submit. So what's going to happen, oops, I put incomplete what kind of type it is. Oops, this is a routine inspection, not a re-inspection. It would ask me what number it is of re-inspection, so now I hit submit. This also lets me hold it as a draft. If I'm I can open up 2 or 3 different, like if I have APSA, UST, and hazardous materials, I could have 4 inspections open at the same time. So what I do is I just hit inspection, addendum, I email it, and then I put the chief, so you'll have the email to the person that is the facility, your contact. And then of course I always email myself, because now with the electronic audit, it's always good to have it emailed to yourself so you can find it. I hit send. So it says my message was sent. Now there's also, you talk about people that don't have wireless. These things also have cell service in them. So if there's no wireless in the area, you can use cell service. If you don't have cell service, I think these guys also have a remote on the iPad that you can take it out and then bring it back and sync it. So what we'll do now is we're going to go back into CERS. I'm going to log out and log back in. Let me see. And see if it picked that up that fast. So I could show you. Not sure it's moving that fast, but okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into facilities, and I'll go contains fire, because I only have 2 fire departments. Search Healdsburg Fire Department, and then I'm going to go in here to compliance, view inspections. Let's see if it came up. Yep, there's my inspection, 412, and I have 1 violation right here. So there's 1 violation. I hit select. So the violation is in there, and basically chemicals stored on shelves that may fall during an earthquake, move to lower shelves or secure with a wire to prevent them from falling. So already that fast. You could also, if it's corrected on site, you could go in here and you can select, and you can actually return to compliance that day. So it makes it really easy. And then basically, and it gets emailed to the facility so they know right away. Additionally, I have the fire inspection here. So I go in here, my fire inspection, complete inspection. So I go in here, I need my signature. Oops, excuse me. Collister. So I just do this for my fire inspection, submit. You won't have to do that if you're environmental health for your CUPA. Need customer signature. Chief already left, so I can select Jason Boaz here, and I hit submit, and then I go complete inspection. So his contact, yes, complete, and then he will also receive that fire, the fire one. DHD also has a fire component, but since everybody in our fire department uses the same inspection for the city, I do that also. So they get it all electronic, it's done. I follow up within 30 days, and we get these corrected, and that's the way it works. All right.